Not often we get to introduce you to a completely new car, especially one that doesn't share a platform with one that you can buy already. But this is one of those very special occasions. Behold, the Volkswagen ID.3. Yes, this is Volkswagen's all-new, fully electric family hatchback. Now, the 3 in the name is meant to symbolise the third major chapter in VW's history. The 2 previous chapters, in case you were wondering, are the original Beetle and the Golf. Now that should give you an idea of how important the brand considers this car to be. It wants the ID.3 to be the car to bring electric motoring to the masses, and it's invested loads of money in a dedicated platform to give it the best possible chance. Now, the styling isn't so futuristic that it looks like something out of Blade Runner, but it doesn't really look like any previous Volkswagen either, which seems to be fitting for a car that's the start of a new electric era for VW.
So while some manufacturers may have shunned the novel detailing of their electric cars, I'm thinking specifically of the Kia e-Niro and the high-end Icona electric, their interiors are a little bit dull. It seems like VW have found a nice compromise between that approach and completely sci-fi bonkers. It's good that the futuristic feel doesn't stop as soon as you get inside the car. As you can see, the interior of the ID.3 is very modern and minimalistic. You've got hardly any switches or buttons to clutter up the dashboard. Now, your focus is mostly drawn to the screen and the dials just behind the steering wheel and the floating infotainment system as well. It's also got strip LED lighting just underneath the windscreen that will change colour when the voice control is listening, or will tell you which direction to go in according to the sat-nav. The infotainment system itself has a very familiar feel to the other VW models. It has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. But I'd say the 2 important things: is it responsive and is the 10-inch screen nice and clear? And it's both of those. It's worth pointing out that VW delivered the first ID.3s to people knowing that the software wasn't quite ready. So there were some owners that were moaning about quite bad bugs, but it seems like there's going to be an update in the very near future that should fix that. Are there any other problems to report other than the glitchy software? Well, making electric cars is an expensive business, and they have had to cut corners with cheaper materials and more scratchy plastics than you would expect. But actually, we spotted something similar in the Golf, but the Golf does not have the same excuse as the ID.3. So while some of the quality is disappointing, as long as you don't go for the entry-level Life model, you can brighten up some parts of the interior, like the dash or the steering wheel or the outside of the screens and other little bits. Now, our car has a rather fetching orange and white combo going on in here, which makes it feel rather special. In fact, it makes me feel a little bit sad for the black and grey interiors of the world. But you know what? I'm going to stay strong and let you decide what's best for you.
This ID.3 is a first edition model that comes with plenty of standard equipment and is similar to the standard high-spec tech model. All ID.3s come with a 10-inch touchscreen infotainment system, climate control, adaptive cruise control, a heated leather steering wheel, front and rear parking sensors, keyless go, and 100 kilowatt fast charging capability. But our car has a host of extras, including matrix LED headlights, a rear view camera, and 19-inch alloy wheels. The car comes as standard with 18-inch steel wheels, and they do affect the overall look, so it's worth checking out if you're happy with them. The entry-level model can feel a bit basic, generally. The standard range starts with the Life trim that moves up through Business, Style, Family, Tech, Max, and Tour. As the name suggests, each one bundles certain extras dependent on what sort of buyer you are, with Tour the most expensive because it's the top-spec long-range model. The car does start to get pricey as you move up the range, but do remember that, as with all fully electric cars, you'll start to recoup your money fairly quickly. Electricity is much cheaper than petrol or diesel, and benefit in kind for company car users is currently at 0%.
Now, it's here in the back where the extra space in an electric car is the most obvious, and it feels really spacious for a car of this size. The headroom's great. The legroom is fantastic for a car of this class. VW say it's more like a Passat than it is a Golf on the inside, and you know what? I'm going to have to agree with them on that. Now, the extra height of the ID.3 means the windows are slightly bigger than what you would expect them to be, so the cabin feels nice and airy. And if you go for a higher spec ID.3, then you get the panoramic sunroof, which allows in so much light. You could grow a tomato plant or something in the back. I don't know why you would choose to do that. It was an idea, whatever.
The ID3 has a 385-litre boot, which is 5 more than the Golf. For a hatchback, it's about average, but SUV-based alternatives like the e-Niro offer 451 litres and are generally a little bit more practical.
Now, if you're like me, you may be wondering, yeah, but how far can it get on a fully charged battery? Now, the official answer is 260 miles, or 210. It's a bit chilly today. Eventually there will be 3 battery capacities available. The smaller version will be much cheaper, obviously, and will do around 200 miles. Then there'll be a bigger battery option that will give you 340 miles, which will obviously be more expensive, but that'll be one of the biggest ranges available in electric cars. The mid-range battery should be about right for most people, especially as you have the 100 kilowatt fast charging, which means if you're doing long journeys, then you've got enough time to stretch your legs and grab a disappointing coffee at a motorway service station and charge it from 0 to 80% in 30 minutes. A few stats for you, if I may. This has 201 brake horsepower and can go from 0 to 62 in 7.3 seconds and weighs just over 2 tons. Now that may feel like a very disappointing combination, but let me tell you, it ain't. Now, as we're getting used to now, the way electric vehicles release their power feels a lot more instant than a conventional car. And let me tell you, the ID3 feels very, very fast when you put your foot down on the accelerator from a standstill. Ah! Oh my God, it totally does. Ah! Your average ID3 will spend most of its time around town, so it's more important how nippy it is at slower speeds rather than how it copes at higher speeds. And yeah, it's definitely a heavier car, but the centre of gravity and the sense of balance feels a lot better because the electric powertrain is actually situated much lower and more central than a normal car. So it feels just as agile, if not more, than the conventional Golf. This is a rear-wheel drive car, and we've been really impressed with how natural the steering feels. It's actually a really impressive ride. Even given that we're on the 19-inch giant alloy wheels, it may be best darting around traffic, but actually it's quite nice cruising because of the serious lack of engine noise. Very nice and comfy.
I'd say it's about time we ran through our ID3 deal makers and deal breakers. The electric powertrain frees up interior space, meaning there's more room inside for passengers compared to a conventional car of the same size. The ID3 feels quick, particularly up to 40 miles an hour, and a range between 200 to 340 miles, dependent on battery size, means there's a model suitable for most buyers. We think VW has achieved a nice balance between the familiar and the futuristic, both in and out. It definitely looks smart, but some of the materials used inside the car aren't very tactile. By now you've probably gathered that we're quite big fans of the ID3 here at Car Buyer. This isn't just a great electric car, it's a great car in its own right, and one that should definitely be on your shortlist if you need a family hatchback, whether you're looking to save money or the planet. The combination of impressive range, performance, style and practicality is a very good way of persuading people to switch from petrol and diesel cars. While there may be some compromises with interior quality and a rather basic entry-level model to keep the starting price down, the ID3 is more spacious and better to drive than you're probably expecting. What it does really well is demonstrate that the best electric cars offer much more than just rock-bottom running costs, and that's going to make people want them. The ID3 could very well prove to be Volkswagen's third people's car. If you found this video useful, then why not watch our Tesla Model 3 review and our Family Hatchbacks playlist. Thanks for watching.